Well, hello everyone and welcome to Barefoot Minis. I discussed angular limb deformities, but I didn't discuss their cause. What is the cause of angular limb deformities? Well, I think there are several factors. One can be diet, the other can be genetics, and a third is how they're laying in the womb, and if they're cramped or if they're laying crooked. So if you feed the mare too much protein or too little protein, it can have an effect on angular limb deformities and how tight or loose the tendons are. Too little protein can be laxity, too much can be contracted. How they lay in the womb can definitely cause club feet or contracted tendons. And hello, lover. Hello, kitty. What do you want? And so there's genetics can also play a role. You'll have contracted foals come from certain stallions or certain mares, and you'll have laxity come from certain stallions and certain mares. Hummingbirds. Hello, hummingbirds. What do you want, lover? Look at these hummingbirds. I'm a very easily distracted human being. I'm sorry. ADDDD. Anyway, genetics can play a role as well, but I think that mostly it's what you feed. You can feed too much protein or too little protein, and that can play a role in angular limb deformities. And there's silly things that can happen too, like prematurity will usually cause laxity because they're not fully developed. And in some cases, if they're so lax and they just haven't developed the joints either, they should be put in a sling and held up and stay with the mom and nurse to keep themselves off their joints until their joints develop. I think, yeah, a lot of it is feed, a little bit of it is genetics, and definitely environment can play a role too. But feed, genetics, environment, and how they lay in the womb. So it's not always as cut and dry as you think, and it's certainly, there can be many factors that play a role. So you can't just point at Siren Dam and say, that's it, it's genetic, because there's so many factors that come into play when it comes to angular limb deformities. Hi, Dev, you beautiful girl. Dev was a little bit more on the contracted end when she was born. Niobe was about perfect. Who else do we have here? Jamie was also perfect. Jamie's over there. There she is. But I've had some for sure that are extra tight when they're born, and then some that are born a little bit early that are extra loose. So it can have to do with prematurity too a little bit. But anyway, there's lots of reasons for it, and farriery helps, and exercise and outdoorsy helps. Because look at Dove, she tends to, her front tends to sometimes splay out a little bit, but good farriery straightens it right back out. So anyway, I've talked enough. Jesus loves you.